This is Mike with AskTractorMike.com. I'm speaking today with Chris from 417 Mobile Maintenance and Repair. And we really talked a lot this summer about brush hog blades, but Chris, it's a problem a lot of people experience, how to service their blades, how to sharpen their blades, when to replace their blades, how to get the blades off. And today we're going to talk about how to put them back on. And the reason we're devoting an entire video about how to put blades on a brush hog is you can do it wrong.
Correct. A lot of times people will put them upside down. Also on a brush cutter that has multiple gearboxes on it, some of them might be a different rotation. So your right hand gearbox might turn clockwise, the left gearbox might turn counterclockwise where they turn into their self. So when you go to your dealership and you get a set of replacement blades, or even if you take them off and you sharpen them, make sure you mark them or remember which location they went in, because they might actually be opposite of each other. The cutting edge may be on the opposite side.
On this particular cutter, this is an 8-foot cutter, and one side blades go clockwise, the other side blades go counterclockwise, and I've got the blades laid out here the way I think they go. And if you're confused, I'm going to post here a diagram from the owner's manual that shows, but on most cutters they'll have a sticker on the cutter that shows which way the blades go, and of course you want the cutting edge going where the way the arrow is going.
Correct. Yep.
The other thing, and I had a viewer here recently told me that one side of their cutter was cutting higher than the other side, and that was the blades upside down.
More than likely, yes.
And most blades have a slope down, and that goes down toward the ground.
Yeah, and some of the smaller cutters, you know, a 4 and 5 foot cutter, even a 6 foot. The blade may not have as much lift, they call it, so it may not have as much slope down where it's going to pull the grass or the brush up, create a vacuum effect. Some of them are more straight, you know, more like a mower blade, and it's going to be a little easier to see that, you know, if it goes upside down or one way or the other. If
you have a 4, a 5, or a 6 foot cutter, really there's only one way you can screw up the blades, and that's putting them on upside down. So if you got the right blades, and again, you need to show make sure your dealer knows which set of blades you want if it's more than one gearbox.
Yeah, and it's good to you know, find a serial tag or something on your brush cutter, and take those numbers with you to the dealership, and that way they can look, because years and serial numbers, you know, there may be a change and the blade may be a little bit longer, or, you know, difference in the part number is going to make a huge difference.
And I'm really glad you brought that up, because there was a serial number break on this machine. And what I do anytime I'm going to get parts, I'll always go out to the machine I'm getting parts for and take a picture of the serial number tag. Sometimes they're a little difficult to find, but get that picture, and that makes it a lot easier on your dealer.
Yep, they're going to be able to actually look up that machine instead of just going in and saying, well, I've got a 5-foot brush hog.
Exactly. Now we have this machine in. A little piece of advice, something I like to do, I put a piece of pasteboard underneath anytime I'm working underneath something, and we've got it blocked up, and I've got it jack stand up. Don't rely on tractor or hydraulics. I've known more than one person been crushed to death, so we want to be safe when we get under the machine. But what are we going to do when we get under there?
So we'll put the blades under, and then you'll get your new bolts or your pin. They're kind of similar to a carriage bolt or like a plow bolt, and it's keyed. So this part is going to go through the blade. The blade's going to go around here and set on this collar, and then this key is going to go in actually to the shaft, or the bar that the stump jumper is attached to. And what that's going to do is that's going to keep this from spinning when you go to put the nut on it. One thing I always do that helps you in the disassemble process is I put anti-seize on all this, and that way when you go to take the blades back off, it actually comes apart a lot easier than it did than when we did it, where you're constantly, you know, just beating on the pin, trying to get the pin to come out. That's it. This is going to go in, the blade's going to go on, then this is going to go up through the stump jumper, and then you'll put the nut on the top and tighten it down.
Alrighty, and we're going to use your air tools. The reason, I guess I could have done this myself, but they call for 600 pounds of pressure, and my $78 torque multiplier failed, and I didn't really want to buy another one, so we're going to use your air tools. How critical is it to get exactly 600 pounds of torque. And I think I know what you're going to say, and a lot of people are going to argue with this, but what's your answer?
You know, having the tools to achieve that 600 foot-pounds, the homeowner is not going to have that. You know, even some of the mechanics in the dealership are probably not going to have that torque wrench in their toolbox. Now, the dealership should have that, but with the lock washer and tighten it down with an air impact, a good 1/2 inch air impact, they're going to be plenty tight. But it's good maintenance to go back and check them. Check all your bolts. After you know, once a year, twice a year, depending on how often you use it. Check the bolts on your gearbox. Make sure the gearbox bolts aren't coming loose. Most of the time, gearbox failures are because of that. The gearbox gets to moving around, and it lets the whole system move. The stump jumper is going to move. The blades are going to start wobbling, and that thing, as it's spinning around, it's going to be wobbling. It's going to get into a rock or stump, maybe when it shouldn't have, and you're going to tear that gearbox up. So it's always good to go back and check everything. So check your blade bolts, you know, once you've torqued them down and tightened them down, mow with it one time or whatever, and go back and check them and make sure that they're still snug, and you know, check the fluids in your gearboxes and stuff like that. One thing I do want to throw in is these blades are pretty heavy. So, you know, for one man to wrestle these things around and try to get the pin, hold the blade, and get the nut on the top, it's really a two-man operation. You can do it by yourself, but it's a lot of work, and you don't want to drop one of these on your head. All right, you're on.
Appreciate you watching this series on brush hog blades. I survive on web traffic. I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page and share this video with other tractor enthusiasts. And if you have questions or comments, put them down below. Try to get back with you. Thanks for watching.